Good morning, children. Till now, we were doing Geography chapter, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife. I hope you all have completed your notebooks by writing all the question answers. Especially, you have to do map work, which is very important, and very often it is asked in the exams. So do the map work and paste it in your notebooks. Now we will start with economics, the second chapter of economics, people as resource. Before starting the chapter, just tell me few things. What do you mean by resource? Have you heard this word before? Of course, in many classes you have heard this word, resource. What does it mean? Resource means anything which satisfy our needs, the needs of human beings. So, how can people be a resource? Yes, that is what we are going to study in this chapter. People as resource. So, basically, we are going to deal with two terms, assets and liabilities. Now, you might be wondering what are these two terms? Liabilities means depending on someone, and asset means bringing, earning the money and adding to the national income or the per capita income of the country. So let's start with the explanation. Chapter People as Resource. So children, let's see how people is regarded as resource. So we will talk about human resource. People who are part of the workforce are called human resource. By contributing in productivity, the human resource plays a significant or the important role in the economy of a country. Any other resource becomes useful only because of the input by the human resource. So how the human resource is regarded as important? By contributing in productivity, it plays a very important role. Investment in human capital yields a return like investment in other resources. Investment in human capital is done. How the investment in human capital is done? It is done through education, training and healthcare. A person who is having a better and good education earns better as compared to an uneducated person. So, for example, if a person is highly qualified or has gained a good education, his educational qualification is very good, he gets a very good job, and he gets a better salary as compared to an uneducated person. Moreover, a healthy person is more productive. Same goes with the health of a person. If a person is healthy, he can produce more and more things as compared to unhealthy person. So this is the picture of human resources, children. These are all the human resources. Then educated parents, they understand the value of education, and so they invest in their child's education for a better and secure future of the child. So once the parents who are educated, they understand the importance of education and they educate their child also. Educated parents, they also take extra care of the health and nutrition of their child. So the educated parents, they take care of the all-round development of their child, and this creates a virtuous cycle of creating a better human capital. So this creates a vicious cycle, a life cycle of creating a better human capital. Like if the good education is given, good health is there, then it will increase the productivity, and finally it will give a better human capital. On the other hand, uneducated parents are unable to invest on education and also on the health care of their children. So this creates a vicious cycle in which the coming generation is often forced to remain poor. So uneducated parents, they are not so much conscious about the education or the health of the child. Neither they have the finance to invest on their children. So this creates a vicious cycle. Educated parents, they create a virtuous cycle, and uneducated parents create a vicious cycle, which in the coming generation makes their children also poor. So let's move on to the economic activities which are done by the human beings. So economic activities can be characterized into three types: primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. So economic activities which support the primary and secondary activities are called tertiary activities, like banking, transport, finance, different types of services, they come under tertiary activities. Now we will see all the three activities in more detail. Moving on to the primary activities. Economic activities which are related to agriculture, poultry farming, fishing, horticulture, animal husbandry, mining, quarrying, etc. they are called primary activities. Natural resources are just extracted in primary activities. Second, secondary activities. Manufacturing is called secondary activity. Natural resources are properly modified in secondary activity. Third, market activities or tertiary activities. When some product or service is produced to be sold in the market, it is called market activity. So children, just now we have seen primary, secondary and tertiary activity. Can you think of an example which we can use in all these three activities? The simple example is of potato chips. Growing potato is the primary activity. Then when the potato goes into the manufacturing or goes to the factories or industries for making the chips, it is known as the secondary activity. Then finally it goes to the market for selling and the consumers, they purchase it. That is known as the market activities or tertiary activities. So in the same way, you can think of more and more examples of primary, secondary and tertiary or the market activities. Now let's see some of the non-market activities. When some product or service is produced for self-consumption, it is called non-market activity. Have you got it, children? What does it mean? When anything is produced or any service is produced or any work is done for self-consumption, that is for self-use, it is called non-market activity. If a farmer produces just enough to meet his family needs, then this activity is a non-market activity. Similarly, the work of a housewife is a non-market activity because she is working for the benefit of her family members. Now, let's move to the quality of population. Population, everyone is familiar with this word population. Now, what does quality population means? Can you think and tell me, children? Yes, quality population means when the population or when the people are highly qualified, well educated, healthy, having nutritious food every day, and they are ready to serve the country, they are ready to do the production, and they are ready to earn more and more income, more and more salary, adding to the increase in the country's growth. So that is quality population. Literacy rate, health and skills, they determine the quality of a population. That is, the people, when they are highly qualified, they are healthy, they are having the skills to determine the quality of a population. Illiterate and unhealthy population can be a liability for the country, for the economy. Literate and healthy population can be made into an asset for the economy. Literate and healthy population contributes towards GDP of a country. So I hope children now it is clear to you what is liability and what is an asset for the economy. When the people are literate, educated, healthy, they are ready for the production, they are ready for earning the money, they are an asset for the country. Asset. And when the people they are illiterate and unhealthy and they cannot do anything for the economy, they come under the category of liability. Literate and healthy population, they contribute towards the GDP, that is gross domestic product of a country. So let's see how education helps in the people to become an asset for the country. Education enhances the literacy level and skill level of a person. It also helps in enriching the culture of the society. Presence of educated persons in the society indirectly benefits the illiterate persons as well. And government has taken various steps to spread education among the people. Government strives to provide universal access to education. It also makes various plans to increase the retention of students. Special emphasis is given on girls' education. So children, as we have seen that education enhances, it adds to the literacy level and skill of a person. It also helps in enriching, improving the culture of the society. So government has taken various steps to spread education among the people. Government has provided universal access to education and it has started various schemes for the education of the people, especially the girl child. Can you name some of the policies like School Chale Hum, midday meals, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? These are few examples which are started by the government. Then free and compulsory education to the children up to the age of 14 years. These are few schemes, few policies started by the government for the education of a children, especially girl child. So this is like educating each and every, whether a girl or a boy. The first, so here we will talk about the plans, the 5-year plans which was started by the government in the year 1950-51. The plan outlay and education in the first plan was rupees 151 crore. It has increased to rupees 43,825 crores in the 10th plan. The expenditure on education was 0.64% of the GDP in 1950-51 and it has increased to 3.98 of the GDP in the year 2002 and 3. So children, you can see how much increase is there in the field of education literacy level during the 5-year plans. Due to constant efforts, the literacy rate has grown from 18% in 1951 to more than 70% in 2011. So literacy rate is higher among males as compared to females. Kerala, children, you know that Kerala is a state having more than 90% literacy, so almost 99% literacy level is there in Kerala, while still there are some states which have a very low literacy level. So this is the outcome of the 5-year plans started in the year 1950-51 by the Indian government. So we are seeing that year by year there is increase in the literacy level of the people. Though there is increase in the male percentage, but still the females are also not behind the males. And Kerala has achieved almost 100% literacy level, and still and some states are just behind Kerala for achieving this literacy level. So let's learn, educate and change the society and change the country and even change the world. So children, that is why it is said that education is the need of the hour. So everyone should be educated. Educating means giving proper and high and qualified education so that it can be fruitful for the coming years. So children, now your duty is to read the chapter thoroughly and try to understand the meaning of asset and liabilities, and also the various schemes, the various policies the government has started for the education of the people, especially the girls. That's all for today, children. Thank you. Have a good day.